Hey everyone, it's Dim, Mindset Arc Podcast, another episode with the intro that I haven't yet created. So, today I'm once again, it's hard to just start saying something. I haven't realized how to start switching to my theme yet, to my topic that I wanted to talk about. There is a lot of thoughts before I start recording, but immediately after I press the button, I forget everything. And that ties in awesomely that to what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted today to be a reminder to you and to myself once again that reality is usually kinder than it looks like. It is a concept from Byron Katie books. Well, at least from one of them that I fully read, called Loving What Is. Having troubles thinking today and remembering names. But yeah, that's book Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And that's one of her concepts there, that whatever else that there is the reality, there is the facts that is actually happening, and it's usually not as bad as we think about it. But when we actually start thinking, start processing everything that's happening, start contemplating on what could happen in the future, or why either we failed or was in some embarrassing situations or something like that, we just add a lot of stories from ourselves, from our experiences, from our subjective experiences, and these stories start to affect us later. And so something quite normal becomes one of the most frustrating or embarrassing events in our lives, or something like that. That's how probably traumas appear, maybe in the childhood as well, but in the late in the adulthood as well, I would believe. So, some of the examples. The best example right now, me recording this and talking to the camera, to you, and trying to say something. And the reality is, I am just the man who stands here and talks in a microphone, tries to speak his own thoughts by himself, and then uploads the video. That is the reality. There is nothing else to it. Then someone can watch it, someone can not watch it, whatever. Something like that happens after. I don't know. But my story about it, why it is always hard for me to start recording something, why I get a huge rush of anxiety every time I hit record button. It is because I think that I need to say something really awesome. I need to give so much value, and I think I don't do that. I think I'm failing. And so to start something every time when you know you're failing, yeah, it is an anxious experience. So what to do with it, right? Like, that's probably easy to notice. So it is hard to notice. Like, the first step is noticing these behaviors. Some story that is created that differs from the reality that's happening around us. So my story is, I cannot say anything good. I cannot give value to people. I cannot, like, yeah, something like that. Or for the moment, I am pretty bad at conveying my information, and so it cannot be useful, or people will waste time by watching me. So these are my stories. And by just acknowledging them, uh, yeah, of course, everything will come up with experience. Probably I get much less anxiety right now while starting something because I already fall back on some routines that I created, on some defaults, and I already had some experience of starting talking, and I already know that I can talk for a long time and convey my thoughts. Even if I'm rambling, it still can be quite coherent. It's much better right now than it was 2 months ago when I just started. So it got better. It got better with experience, but still, every time to start this recording, I kind of have to push through every this story that I created, that it will be awful, that it's a waste of time, and I'm embarrassed, and I'm quite literally sometimes feel ashamed that I'm talking about some things. And I want to be much more open, but there are some things that I'm really ashamed about to talk yet. And that ties into what people will think about me and what I can actually give. But probably this idea of what I can give ties into what people actually will think about it, and will they like it? Will the people like my content? And I have nothing to prove that to me yet. And probably with that it would be easier, but there is another approach, this one where I just detach and talk about the reality as the reality. The reality is I'm talking here, I'm standing here, I'm recording something, I'm talking into an empty room, and something is recording me. And you know, when I think about it like that, right now I don't think about, oh, how all I want to say sucks. I am already in the flow. I have no time to think about how awful I may sound, how incoherent I may be. I just don't have time to think about it because I'm talking. I have to think about the things that I have to say. But before that, to even start, this detaching thing, this just seeing reality as it is. Like, I'm just pressing the button and then I'm starting to talk about something. And it ties into removing a lot of pressure from you, from myself in this regard. And it just makes it easier to at least do something. And I am kinda cheating here because I have this 365 project to work on. And I have to record something every day, or else I'm failing something that is I consider higher than me, some really important task. So it is kind of cheating here because I have to do that. But that can be applied even if that is kinda optional. So you know you want to make progress somewhere. You want to go out to some meetup. You want to start talking to people. You want to work on your articles. You want to research your business. You want to apply for a job. You want to go on Tinder and text a bunch of possible partners. You want to go on a street and talk to people. Something like that. And I realized that all of it is start to overcome from the start. And detaching takes practice as well. And there will be anxiety, there will be a lot of anxiety at the start. But it makes it easier to just say the reality, to drop these stories, these possible scenarios, which are usually negative, that we create for ourselves, and to just see the action as the action itself without any. I hope I didn't turn out. Okay. to see the action as just the action itself, without any additional connotation of how good or how bad it is. Because when we start labeling these things, then the anxiety just goes through the roof. And then you have to go to fight with yourself. So yeah, another couple of examples that made me think about it today. So first one, like, yeah, I'm encountering that the last one, not the first, but the last, the most recent one is this talking to the camera and recording this. But before, uh, for the like, this is the time when I felt struggling while being alone, while being, because I am right now alone here in my house most of the time. I'm recovering after surgery. I don't go out anywhere. I don't go to the gym like I was before. So I'm literally stuck in my house. I can still go out, but I just don't have the motivation to do that. And so I was feeling really alone from time to time. And sometimes I just wanted to have someone nearby who could support me, who I can open, who I can share a lot of my feelings, emotions, all of that. Someone that I can really trust and be as open as I am open with myself. And that is a huge thing to ask. But what I was telling myself, I was suffering because of it. I don't have someone like that with me now. Or maybe I don't even need someone like that with me now. It's just because I am feeling really hard from time to time in the last days, and I would have wanted to ease that pain by having someone around me always. And so this is the desire. It may not be even fruitful, it may not be even positive, because by having someone nearby I would just escape and I won't even process my emotions, feelings, and it will still come up at some point. So it may be even better that I am alone, that I am feeling that, because most of the time it's okay. Just at some moments when I am back one-on-one with my own thoughts, it just comes back that, oh, it is really hard right now. But yeah, back to the point that I was making. My story was here that it it is painful that I don't have anyone, that I'm missing, that I don't have anyone, and that I need someone in my life who can ease my pain. And I need to suffer because I don't have anyone with me right now. But the reality is, this guy sitting at his house, working, distracting himself and recovering just just by himself, one person. There is nothing, there is no stories about my life in reality. If I'm sitting here these couple of weeks by myself in my house, it doesn't mean that I will do that for all my life, that I'm fated to just be alone for a long amount of time. That is definitely not true. Another story, like another dissonance with reality, is I actually have a couple of friends that I'm seeing a couple of days a week. And so I'm literally not alone even for a week. I cannot be, I'm still meeting someone and I'm still talking with the colleagues on my workplace, and yeah, it's a different thing. And there is the world outside of my house that I can just look at. It's all happening. So I'm not alone. And yeah, I understand that's a kind of different things, but even back to having friends and meeting them, and I have that support that I want, just not every moment of my life. And that is okay. That usually correlates with every one of us. that may be not true in relationships, in some really close, I would even say codependent relationships where you're just spending every minute of your life together, and that is the problem in itself most of the times. And I was in that, and so that's why I remembering how I don't remember the problems of that it caused me, but I remember how it was easier that I wasn't feeling alone. So I wasn't having this feeling that I have right now. Yeah, that is the story that I don't have this right now. But I actually have a lot of things, and the story is, yeah, for this day, for a couple of like days prior, and and one day after that. So literally for 4 days, this guy is sitting at his house by himself, working and having fun by other means, and that is actually a good thing. If you think about it in reality, without any of the stories, it's good. Like, there is a lot of stuff to enjoy. There is a lot of stuff to be fun about, to have fun with. There is a time to process, to learn to be with myself better. There is time to just like meditate in any way and just know, just be more aware. There is more time, there is a lot of time that it can be used and it can be enjoyable. But while I'm believing the story that, oh, I'm missing something right now in these couple of weeks, even though I had that previous couple of weeks, and I will probably have that in a couple of weeks in the future, well, I will just change my lifestyle again. And while believing in that story, I feel miserable. I feel just I'm suffering, and I cannot enjoy this change of pace, change of being, these moments of being alone. I just think that it is wrong, that my life shouldn't be like that, but it is like that for now. So that is another example that I encountered today. Another one was, there was rain today, and I got a little bit outside on my balcony and was standing there, and it was kind of cold. And my thought was, instead of, oh, how awesome it is, it's finally raining, because I really like rain, and while it's cold. So the reality was, I was standing outside, it's raining, it's cold, it's finally raining. That is the reality. But my story was, okay, I'm gonna go to that rain, I'm gonna stand there until I'm literally shivering, so I would suffer, so I would feel something, so I would feel what I'm missing in my life, like these feelings, these emotions. No one can pity me. I want someone to just be around and like hug me in this while I'm feeling that bad, but no one can do that, and so I'm suffering. I'm creating this story to suffer. And that's what we all do from time to time, I think. So that was a couple of examples that I encountered only today, but there were a lot more in previous days. I just wasn't aware of them. And so what I want to recommend you is, when you actually encounter these things, you can indulge in them for a while. I'm not talking you need to be perfect as being always aware and all. It serves its purpose to just detach and be sad for a while, be a little bit depressed for a while. It has its purpose. It is kind of a relaxation, depending on how is your relationship with this detachment. But try to be aware after the fact of why you actually indulged in these negative feelings, why you actually tried to make you suffer, to make you miserable, why you invent the problems that will make you feel pain, be it physical or emotional. I was punishing myself with the physical and emotional pain. from being cold and literally in pain, and then just suffering like from loneliness, and that is a mental pain. So just notice when you feel like you're suffering. I'm not asking you to fight it. It's probably a bad idea to fight it specifically, because that's probably there is reason for that. So don't try to suppress it, don't try to fight it, but just be aware why you are feeling that way, why you are feeling these emotions, this pressure, this this idea that you have to suffer, that you have to feel pain, that you have to struggle, that you have to overcome some obstacles. If you believe in something like that, just try to investigate why you believe like that. And just being aware of that can really help. It definitely will help over time. At least over extended period of time, you will know what you're up against. And then your mind kind of tries to find the solutions themselves. The main solution you can do while feeling not good is to be aware. Question yourself, go into your mind and just don't like try to question yourself until you basically screaming. I almost did that. But just ask a couple of questions each time you encounter something like that. And from time to time it just comes up. Eventually it will. Eventually you will have your answer. And you can write it, you can just process it, be with it for a while, kind of internalize what was the reason behind it, and repeat it a couple of times. And then probably you will understand that this reason is not what you want. This reason is kind of false. You don't have to suffer to reach your goals, to reach whatever you want. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I don't see how much time I'm recording, but I think it's 20 minutes or something. So quick message turned into a 20-minute. I wouldn't say even that it was rant. It was kinda good. I really liked today's episode. There is a lot of progress lately with that in comparison to some late things. So I'm really happy with how it turned out to be. I believe it is really useful, and it was really useful to me to talk about this stuff as well. So it was a message to me as well. And thank you if you were listening to this. I said everything I could. I won't repeat myself, and I just want to say I'm grateful to you for listening to that, for participating in everything that I wanted to say, and see you next time. Bye.